we now understand that the line of action really represents the overall movement of the body, right? So in this instance of this model that we have here, we'll draw in a circle for her head, some kind of ellipse for her head, and we'll define the line of action. And that's great. But there are two other important lines that we want to know about: the spinal line as well as the center lines, and what their purposes are. So the spinal line, as its name implies, is us imagining the position of the spine. Fortunately, it works very much in an opposing curves fashion. As the neck, as the vertebrae of the spine comes down from the neck area, it opposes out, it bends around the back, it goes in at the stomach section, and then around down the pelvis. And this would be the spinal line. And the spinal line is a great tool for helping us position anatomy and body elements when we're doing complex or even simple poses. It's a really good measuring stick as well that we can measure our proportions against. Where are we ending the line? How are the curves working? Where do we need to bend the skin around the forms when we've built the forms? And it's also a great tool in constructing your drawings, because if you get the spinal line in and you're thinking about the spinal line, it helps you better position where you want to put the forms on top of that spinal line so that it makes sense in 3 dimensions. So that is the spinal line. And it really is a great tool. Let's put the line of action here. Last but not least, we then have the center lines, also known as the axial line. And the center line really is a line that we use for measuring when we've got the forms down. So there's the center line of the face, there's the center line of the neck, and I'll draw in a form here for the chest. And that's the center line for the chest. And here's the stomach. Let's draw it as a sphere. There's the center line of the stomach area, and we've got our pelvis shape, and there's the center line for our pelvis shape. And the center line, or the axial line, let's call it center axial, its purpose is to help us measure, right? Help us to know that we're placing facial features in a logical way, that they read as balanced on the face, and it's a measuring tool really. Helps us to say, okay, this is the center of the form, and so therefore if I put a button here, I need to put a button here, because that is a logical kind of measurement based off the center line positioning. And you can use center lines and implement them wherever you feel that you need them. Especially good for placing elements on clothing and figuring out just the general measurements of the forms, right? The center line. Just want to highlight the center line here for us as well. Right, so the center line's used for measurement, right? And I would advise definitely when you're doing your construction drawings, use them where you need them. It's just another tool in your toolbox to help you draw well and help you draw effectively. So these are the 3 lines we want to know, but particularly we want to know about the spinal line, the center or axial line, and just their various purposes. And that's the end of this lesson. Let's move on.